it's like that's the reason you have black people saying, there are black people out there right now who I see saying like black people ain't responsible for to be in solidarity with them, because people are putting, instead of them saying, you know what I'm saying, domestic terrorists, you know what I'm saying, um, commits a hate crime, they're saying black, this is a great time for black people to show solidarity with Asian people, like as the headline, you know what I mean?
They ain't get to make it home, nah, nah. All because they hit the road, Man, on everything I love, yeah, on my soul. I'ma fight to change the story that is told about this yellow tape. Playing instrumentals when I'm writing.
Interpret that.
Um,
Sorry if it just switched really fast.
no, that was good. And just like a disclaimer, like I wore this shirt last time on this last podcast, but I wore it again because, you know what I'm saying, because I wanted to reference this, and I knew we were going to talk about like what's been going on in the world. But I don't know, it's been really crazy to me, and I feel like this happening to another race was very eye-opening to me, because I like, basically because of everything that's been going on in like 2020 and everything, it's been very eye-opening to me to see that happening to another race. And I actually understand that, like, we're at, I don't know how to, I don't want to say it the wrong way, but I see like, you still see so much division. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what this made me realize, because I see a lot of, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like, I might let y'all go because I know what I'm trying to say, but it's I'm trying to make sure it's like to the point. But basically, go ahead, go. I'll let one of y'all go. I'm gonna put it together.
I was just gonna say, I think any race, any non-white race is prone to overt discrimination and racism from white people. And so like I was thinking that this conversation was gonna like get into like, you know, how do we look at this in terms of who experiences institutionalized racism? Because like there are additional elements of like, us as African Americans, we have a deep rooted history in America where a lot of this institutionalized racism comes from. And that's not to say that's not the same for the Asian community, but we also see a lot of Asians coming from overseas who are coming from highly educated families who are, coming here to continue their education and then move on to high paying jobs. And, those are also the same people that we see in our communities who are in the upper echelon of the income brackets. And, a lot of that sort of conversation. It's just like they like I guess this may get into like the model minority conversation, which I love to hear y'all's thoughts about too. But I think that the experience of institutionalized racism, there is a difference in experience across race groups.
So
Go ahead, Luke.
I just and I don't know, this could be my ego, because like I feel like you ruffle some feathers, right? And I feel like because like the hidden of like a model minority, or just like in this time, or like, because I want to make sure that this doesn't become like a conversation of like comparative suffering right now, just because of like how, like you said, overt it is. I feel like that, or like there was, well, there's never been like an appropriate time for it, but there was a time where like we were a lot less conscious. Like, and that's why I say like, especially coming off of 2020, a year when like there was calling in the shit. I mean, this the virus, like the China flu, like people like just like doing things like directly to the Asian community. While like a lot of times, it was, I don't know, it was just like fresh off of that, fresh off a year of social injustice, and then boom, here, and then I feel like the idea of the model minority kind of made them more susceptible to it. And again, it kind of reminds me of like the just like terms where was it phase of learning? They said like the multiple lines of division, right? But like I also understand, yeah, I don't know, because then I'm about to get into something else that I don't want to get into.
No,
I mean, I
you
think
could go ahead.
should, yeah. I think you should, and I feel like I know where you're going type shit. What, Phase, were you finna say something? Or
No, if you're gonna say it, go ahead, Lee.
I want the
I was
conversation
just gonna
to.
say, because it is just kind of crazy, because like what I'm trying to like I have so many different directions that I want to go with this. That's why it's kind of hard for me to put together thoughts. But there was a video that of I don't know if you guys seen it, is like one of the officers talking about what happened. And it's like went viral on Twitter, Instagram, and everything. And basically the way he was describing,
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying, the way he
Yeah.
was describing the killer is like, yeah, he was having a bad day, or you know what I'm saying, he was just having a bad day. So this is what he did this because he was having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like that because he was making him, the killer, seem more humane than, like, you know what I'm saying, the people that were actually massacred. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't he like, you know, it was just crazy to me to hear that, because you see that all the time. Like, and it's not just like black, it's not just Asian, it's not this, like you were kind of talking about comparative suffering. It's all of us minorities. We are kind of looked at in this light as lesser, or when something happens to us, it's like thrown under the rug. But then when we do something, it's like terrorist.
Yeah. And that's the thing, exactly the point I was gonna bring up, Phase, where it's like, first I want to say I believe that all people, especially people of color in general, should be in solidarity with the Asian community, the same way that I believe all of them should be in solidarity with the Black community. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah.
unity is the way, but it touches to the root. We got to go to like the root, and that's the reason it was. That's the reason you also see like the media plays a big part in that division that you were speaking to, Phase, where it's like the media does a great job of ignoring the root of the problem, which is, right, white supremacy, right? It's like that's the reason you have Black people saying, there are Black people out there right now who I see saying like, Black people ain't responsible for to be in solidarity with them, because people are putting, instead of them saying, you know what I'm saying, domestic terrorists, you know what I'm saying, commits a hate crime, they're saying this is a great time for Black people to show solidarity with Asian people, like as the headline, you know what I mean? Where it's like, the one, and I was just tweeted this low key, but it's like, it's facts. Like, the one of the greatest tools of white supremacy is the creation of the struggle Olympics, of the comparative suffering, because it prevents us. It almost goes into like a crabs in a bucket. It prevents us from uniting in a sense where in this moment this is a universal wrong that happened. Universal, everybody universally should see this as racist and sexist, in my opinion, because he said that he was addicted to sex, which is, you can't, yeah. But also should see it as a microcosm of, this is an act of white supremacy, a domestic terrorism act of white supremacy, right? So it's like, if we can't, because it's so, and that's the thing where it's like, it goes back to what Mo was saying in terms of, damn, it makes people feel mixed emotions that shouldn't even be there. We're socialized to feel these mixed emotions because at the same time, we like, damn, they're a minority like us. Everybody want to ride for them. But I 100% understand people who are like, they don't ride for us. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said at the beginning, I'm a complete believer in that everybody should ride. You should ride for people who are being oppressed regardless of what they're doing for you. But that's the reason I started the conversation by saying, like, we need to be able to have these uncomfortable conversations and have these conversations around solidarity, because if we're, or for us to support the Asian community 100% how we should and unite, there has to be an understanding that yes, we are oppressed as African American people or as Black people in general in America, and they need to understand and be able to acknowledge the history of that in America, that we were forced immigrants, you know what I'm saying, a whole lot of stuff that goes with that. But at the same time, we have to be able to understand their plight and not be able to look at it like, yeah, but y'all shit ain't fucking with ours. Which is how a lot of Black people view it. And that goes into the model minority thing you were talking about, Mo. But like, I just think that's being able to really acknowledge and understand each other's plight, and then also each other's privilege is a huge thing, because we have privilege as being born here that Black people don't tend to, you know what I'm saying, acknowledge, whereas like compared to people who are immigrants, depending on, you know what I'm saying, who you are. And then there's also just different, we have male privilege if I'm talking to an Asian woman, you know what I'm saying? Being able to acknowledge your privilege and your oppression and being able to bring those to the table and now discuss, okay, how are we going to help whoever's at the bottom? We like, it's the idea of none of us are free until, you know what I'm saying, until all of us are free. So how are we going to unite to do that with that, and ignoring all of the, or bypassing all of the shit that the media pushes to try to distract us from the real battle, which is defeating white supremacy, in my opinion. So yeah, that was a lot, but that's how I feel.
That was big. That was nice.
Yeah. I feel like you wrapped everything up, man. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree too. And I think especially framing it as far as like, what's the ultimate goal here? Like if people could have the frame of mind around that rather than like the comparative suffering conversation, then it'd be honestly it's what makes sense. I think but I was bringing up the conversation earlier because like um there I guess maybe like if we could just talk about real quick like where this model minority myth comes from and like you know what stake does it have on the way people interpret the Asian community and their standing, and like how that compares to. I know that this is like we shouldn't. It's not. I shouldn't be framed around comparative suffering, but like I guess how do we get out of that mindset, considering that Asians who are in the United States are in similar um, like socioeconomic statuses as you know white people who are
I think, and I want to definitely want to hear what y'all think. And it's funny because me and Shy talked about this for like 3 hours last night. But the fact that it's like it's messed up on all sides, right? Because it's like from the Asian people I know, I don't know a lot of Asian people who are fourth generation like American. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like they great grandparent was in America. You know what I'm saying? All the Asian people I've met, and this is just my experience, have been they were either their parents or their grandparents came from China, or they could have came directly from China, but it's not like, oh, they've just been in America a long time. So it's like one, the idea of the difference between like being an immigrant and then the American dream for an immigrant compared to black people who have always been here is a big you can even see it within African people as well, like within the black community. There's a difference in that. But then at the end of the day, I think it just goes to one part of it is colorism, right? So they're going to model minority because they're closest one part in terms of if you do the brown paper bag test type shit, right? But at the same time, it's to me, it's and it's something that's been like mind racking for me. It's like it's messed up for them because of the fact that like it's almost like, damn, get as close as I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna show you how to pretty much be white in a sense. And I'm not saying they're being white, but like I'm gonna show you how to be us, and I'm gonna accept you into here so that you can be with us. But at the same time, I'm giving you these opportunities. So now I don't want to hear none of that shit about diversity and shit. You one of us is how a lot of white people have put Asian people, like they've put them in that position to where it's like we tried to bring y'all so close to where we're still gonna oppress you, but now you can't even say shit about it because we put you above everybody else already. You know what I mean? So it's like the idea of it's like that tokenization is so like fucked up on both ends. It's fucked up for us because we like, damn, how they just be able to get here and we've been here all this time, we ain't even been able to get here. But at the same time, it's fucked up for them because now their oppression doesn't even get acknowledged a lot of times, which fuels the struggle Olympics and all of that other shit. So that's my thought.
think
Yeah,
that
and
that's the ego.
yeah, I was about to say, how you do that? Because like I feel like everything we've talked about today has hit on that in some part. So I think it's gonna be
That's the
interesting to
title of this podcast.
rewatch it, right, and
Ego.
like see how I was fucked up. I'm sure I was somewhere, but no, because I think to answer your question, it goes back to what Lonnie said before you asked it, and the understanding of privileges and like the oppressions, while like killing whatever like fight you want to have about yours mean worse. Like like just getting over that and be like, okay, like it doesn't matter if we're here to just talk about that it was bad, and then understanding like, okay, while it is bad, what privileges you have. And I think like because a lot of it is true, like the model minority, there's a lot of things like you said, like it's just true, but like that shouldn't be a blocker or a disclaimer of whatever oppressions that they feel. Like just because, oh, in some respects they treat you like a human being, but not in all. And us, we have less. Like that shouldn't be like, oh, well, wait till we catch up with you, then we can start moving together. And I think like we often see the black community do it, and I think it just get irritated, like Lenny said, when it, like it's asked for it, or like almost like told for us to do it. Like in the women's movement, how like the black community, the black women really supported white women, right? And but like as soon as the women won their victories, the white women quickly forgot about the black women. And I think like also understanding that like our community has dealt with that multiple times. Like it been hella times where we'll fight for something, gay rights, but white gays, white male gays, or and then like healthcare, but only if you're white, and all of these things like voting, but only if you're white, and like it's like so hella times we've been like left out, left out. So it's almost instincts for us to be like, no, fuck y'all, but like we have to get over that, or
And that's why it's so
I would ask for us to get over it. Yeah.
That's why it's so important for that conversation. I know where you finna have to go, but that's why it's so important for it to be a conversation, because if we just support like how we saying like, yeah, we show solidarity, boom, 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 or we just fighting for them without having a conversation about it, which has always happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Martin Luther King and them, you know what I'm saying, was fighting for whether it's Hispanic rights, whoever, you know what I'm saying, whatever you're fighting for. If you don't have that conversation that, okay, we need to have an understanding that we need to be there for each other. Like, yeah, I'm here for you, but we need to both have this conversation and realize, okay, we both have these different privileges and impressions, and we need to unite overall. It needs to be more uniting than standing up for somebody, if that makes sense. But yeah. And that's the only way that it's beneficial on all aspects, I think. But in this moment, I don't think we should be thinking like, okay, let's see if they can fuck with the blacks. Like, no, right at this moment, it's solidarity, you know what I'm saying, and understanding, attempts to understand, you know what I'm saying, their oppression if you don't already, and things like that. So, and being an ally in that sense.
And reaching out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, because that's still traumatized. I know people, and I know we gotta go, but like there are people who are afraid to do certain things, especially like over the past year, just because they're Asian. And they're afraid of, just like how we experience it. Like they're like, and for their communities, like a lot of their elders have been picked out. So that's even more like demoralizing. Like imagine someone only targeting your grandparents, your like ancestors, like your weak but most coveted people, and like yeah.
We're all on the same team.
It's the realest. You gotta feel me for real.
Hey, make sure you guys go like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys like the video, please tap into when the next episodes are coming out. Trust me, you will not regret it. We got more juiciness coming. We got more conversations coming. We got more sports. We got more love. We got more everything. We got more forever. So go like, comment, and share, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can know when the next videos are dropping for our family out. Yes, sir.
Soul, I'ma fight to change the story that is told about this yellow tape. Playing instrumentals when I'm riding through the countryside.